Hello everyone, my name is Elijah David, minister of the 12th Hour Apostolic Sabbatarian Congregation downtown at the 12th Hour in Liberty Hills, Texas. Today is August the 12th, 2013, or in the 6th day of Elul, 2017. We will start our first service today with a song entitled Rescue the Parish. Rescue the perishing, care for the dying, snatch them in pity from sin and the grave. Weep for them, everyone, lift up the fallen, tell them of Yahshua the mighty to save. Rescue the perishing, care for the dying, Yahshua is merciful, Yahshua will save. Though they are sliding him, still he is waiting, waiting the pregnant the child to receive. Faith with him earnestly, faith with him greatly, if they only rescue the perishing, care for the dying, Yahshua is merciful, Yahshua will save. Down in the human heart, crushed by the tempted, feelings of buried that grace can restore. Touched by a loving heart, wakened by kindness, doors that are broken will vibrate once more. Rescue the perishing, care for the dying, Yahshua is merciful, Yahshua will save. Rescue the perishing, duty demands it, strength for the labor the Yah will provide. Back to the narrow way, patiently win them, held up for wonder, our Savior has died. Rescue the perishing, care for the dying, Yahshua is merciful, Yahshua will save. Hello everyone, once again this is Elijah David. We're going to continue now with the message of David's everlasting kingdom. We're going to pick up where I left off on my book and continue on about page 27, the compilation that I have been working on for the last 7 or 8 years. And folks, this book is being edited at this time, actually fine-tuned editing, and this book is going to be published. And it's going to be for anyone in the world that wants to know, and no doubt there's going to be a lot of folks out there that are going to want this book to get the facts of the historical movements, starting with our reformers, starting with Martin Luther in 1500 AD, and he broke away from the Catholic Church, being a Catholic monk that he was, receiving of the divine revelation of righteousness by faith through the blood of the everlasting covenant. That's righteousness by faith in Yahshua alone can only atone and forgive sins and wash you from all your sins. And so he broke the power of the Catholic Church. He broke away and formed the Lutheran Church, and the first Reformed doctrine coming out of the Dark Ages, with the doctrine of the righteousness by faith in the blood. That has been the key theme since the Garden of Eden, since the fall of man. is the blood of the everlasting covenant established at the garden gates. With the first parents that fell into sin and had to have the remedy supplied that very day that they fell into sin. They had to have it that day because Yahweh the Father had told them earlier, the soul that sinneth, it shall die. He told Adam and Eve, in the day that you eat thereof, you shall surely die. And so Lucifer come along and perverted that into a lie. And he told Adam and Eve that thou shalt not surely die. Okay, now, they believed the lie, and they did end up dying. They didn't die that very day because Yahweh and his son Yeshua had a remedy waiting for them. And they supplied that remedy by the promise of the blood of the everlasting covenant. That would be supplied by the Yeshua, the Son. And so we're going to pick up this theme today, and we're going to carry this theme all the way down to the end of time, when indeed this theme is what is going to bring the harvest of the world and the end of the world. This is what is going to redeem, restore all mankind back to their original status that was intended for man, and that is restore him back to the Garden of Eden. Alright, now, I started this series a while back entitled David's Everlasting Kingdom, or the Kingdom of Heaven here on earth. Anyway, let's start at the heading again. Let's just more or less just start at the beginning again with this compilation entitled King David's Everlasting Kingdom, Daniel 2:44-45. Ends with the, it doesn't end, but it culminates with the calling of the 144,000. And then the 144,000 joins the everlasting kingdom of David for the being Yeshua's battle axe, and joining him at the same time when he comes back to sit upon the throne of David in the reign as King of Kings and Sovereign of Sovereigns. And so now, this is where we're at. So let's start. King David's everlasting kingdom. And that's found in the prophecy of Daniel 2:44-45. Culminating with the calling of the 144,000, with the beginning of the judgment for the living, 2002-2003, by the cleansing of the sanctuary, Daniel 8:14, for the living. Cleansing of the sanctuary of the book of the seven seals. All the names and the records of people found in those seven books of the seven seals are going to come up in the judgment time to receive the cleansing, atoning remedy that will gain them entrance into the heavenly kingdom. By the fifth group laborers. Now this is done by the fifth group laborers found in Matthew 20:6. And this began in 2002 at the Gilead Cemetery, Texas, with the call at the end of the 11th hour. Now, it says in the Matthew 20:6 that, and he went out about the 11th hour. It didn't say the end of the 11th hour. It didn't say the beginning of the 11th hour. It just said he went out about the 11th hour. But keep in mind that the 11th hour is 1 hour before sundown. Okay, now sundown, actually, the 11th hour, at the beginning of the 11th hour, you would have 2 full hours before the sun went down. First you've got to go through the 60 minutes that was allotted for the 11th hour. on your clock on the wall, and then you got to go through these 60 minutes time period allotted for the 12th hour. That gives you 120 minutes. So time the 11th hour sounds, to begin the 11th hour, you have 2 hours until the sun goes down over the horizon. People understand that. On their clock on the wall, it says 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock is your last hour of your daylight. And he gets a full 60 minutes as well. People makes that the beginning of the 12th hour as the end of the day. No, the end of the day is at the end of the 12th hour. So it says, for the working in the 12th parabolic, final and parabolic hour. So what they call at the end of the 11th hour, 2003, 11th parabolic hour, Matthew 20, verse 6. It says, for the working in the 12th and final parabolic hour, John 11, 9, are there not 12 hours in a day? Through the new and living way, Hebrews 10, 20, 22. By the blood of sprinkling, Hebrews 12, 24, 1 Peter 1 and 2. Through the blood of the everlasting covenant, Hebrews 13, 20. Alright, for the laboring in the vineyard, Isaiah 5, 7, and the 12th parabolic hour, this is the beginning 2002, 2003. And moving forward in the harvest time, now people wonder why did I say 2002, 2003? For there is a 1 year period from the time that the call is made to begin the work in the vineyard. It comes at the call officially comes at the beginning or in the midst of the year 2002. But there's a whole year prophecy there for the changing of the guard. From the old guard to the new, from those that worked in the 11th parabolic hour to those that are going to work in the 12th parabolic hour, there is a 1 year preparation. You find that prophecy in Zechariah chapter 3. So it says, with the beginning 2002, 2003, and moving forward in the harvest time, for the beginning of the 12th parabolic hour, is with the cleansing of the sanctuary, Daniel 8:14. For the closing of the judgment for the dead period, 1844-2003. For the SDA denomination by the 5th group of laborers, house of the David, tribe of the Judah lawgiver, born at the Passover at the Gilead Center in the Plymouth, Texas, with the call at the end of the 11th parabolic hour, 2003, Matthew 20, verse 6. So the call at the end of the 11th parabolic hour, 2003, is with the beginning of the 12th parabolic hour. For the 8th movement in the 12th parabolic hour with the 5th group of the laborers for the SDAs, that is Seventh-day Adventist, house of the Esau. And when I say house of the Esau, I'm talking about the antitypical house of the Esau. Today would represent the spiritual twin brother of Jacob, and we know that those two dissimilar servants were played out in the third step of the genuine movement for the Seventh-day Adventists, starting in 1970 at the Plymouth, Texas. We know who those you have been introduced to those two dissimilar servants, antitypical Esau and Jacob. More notably known by their birth name as Burles Johnson and Denton Brown. Okay, Seventh-day Adventist, house of the Esau with the last call for the working in the vineyard, Isaiah 5:7, house of the Yahshua. Now notice I said the house of the Yahshua. This is a house that David built, folks. The house of the Yahweh, the Father, and His Son. So when I say the house of Yahweh, the Father, I'm talking about the house of His Son as well, because they both live in it when they come to earth. They both live in heaven when it's in heaven. You have a type in heaven that's a prototype of the one here on earth. Okay, for the Yahshua answered, are there not 12 hours in the day? If any man walk in the day, he stumbleth not because he seeth the light of this world. Through the new and living way, John 11:9. For the beginning of the judgment for the living in the harvest time, Jeremiah 8:20, is for the first fruits, 144,000, Revelation 14:1. And second fruits, a great multitude, that's your Gentiles, that's your brethren, to the 144,000. Actually, genealogically connected up by the blood, and that's found in Revelation 7:9, of the house of Israel. With David's everlasting kingdom, Daniel 2:44's prophecy up and 45, projecting that David's everlasting kingdom that's set up in the days of these kings here in the last days. He said it will not be left to other people. It will not be destroyed. It will stand forever. And it will not be given to another people, this dominion. And in the days of these kings shall the Elohim of the heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And David's everlasting kingdom shall not be left unto other people, for that David's everlasting kingdom shall break into the pieces and consume all of these kingdoms. And David's everlasting kingdom shall stand forever. Verse 45, for as much as thou sawest the stone, David's everlasting kingdom, the beginning of it, Daniel 2:44, is cut out of the mountain without the hands, and that it break into the pieces of the iron, of the brass, of the clay, of the silver, and of the gold. For the great Yahweh Elohim hath made known unto the king which shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof is sure. For the standing with the Lamb on the Mount Zion of the 144,000, Revelation 14:1-6, is at the time that the Michael, that's Yahshua, stands up, Daniel 12:1, for the delivering of the saints at the beginning of the great and dreadful day of the Yahweh, beginning in 2002. That's in Malachi 4:5, and that's in Daniel 12:1. Okay, 12 tribes, 144,000, Revelation 7:1. Now we're going to read the sealing of these 12 tribes by that angel that came from the east. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding of the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth. Earth in prophecy is the United States proper, nor on the sea, that's in the old world, represents all the old world, nor on any tree representing any minister, any true minister of Yahweh. These winds of the angel that hold the 4 winds, that it do not harm the earth at the time that the angels were holding these winds, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, meaning out there in the world, and all the nations, nor on any tree, any true minister that's holding up the truth, the banner, which not blow on them. Verse 2, and I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living Elohim, and he cried with a loud voice unto the 4 angels unto whom it is given to hurt the earth and the sea. Do you get this? And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living Elohim, and he said, and he cried with a loud voice unto the 4 angels, not the ones that are holding the 4 winds, to keep it from blowing on the earth, or on the sea, or any tree. But he's talking about another 4 angels, a group of 4 angels, unto whom it is given to hurt the earth and the sea. Now, it is given to 4 angels to hold the winds not to hurt the earth, and now it comes time to give unto the additional 4 angels the power to hurt the earth and the sea. Okay, let's see about this. So now we have 8 angels involved here. 4 holding the winds and 4 commanded to start the hurting. We'll find out who those 4 angels are going to hurt. We'll find out that they're going to hurt our enemies that would try to come against us to hurt us. That's what the 4 angels are for. Only to hurt the enemies. Number 3, hurt not the earth. This is verse 3 of Revelation 7. Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of Elohim in their forehead. So you wonder why you're having peace and safety at this time? Thank Yahweh for the prophecy. Because this is, the prophecies is what holds everything in place until the 144,000 comes forth. But after they come forth, folks, then it's going to be a different story. Verse 4. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of the tribes of the children of Israel. Alright, looks like the 12 tribes have shown up here in these last days. The angel knows who they are and where they're at. He's coming from the east. Why does the angel have to come from the east to come to where the 144,000 is? Because the 144,000 are in the west. They are gathered here in the earth, which is the western hemisphere, directly west from Jerusalem, about quite a few thousand miles. I'd say probably about 6,000 miles. Now I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of the tribes of the children of Israel. Well, where these 12 tribes show up at? Well, folks, they showed up on the Mount Zion. Okay, let's continue now. We're on verse 5, starting with the dealing of the sealing of the 144,000. The first tribe sealed was of the tribe of Judah, lawgiver. That's the tribe of David. Now I'm going to do a series on David's dynasty. After I get through with this book of mine, I'm going to do a series on David's everlasting kingdom and David's dynasty. Now, David's dynasty stands the test of time. But the dynasty of the 10 tribes that were separated from the 2 tribes, Judah and Benjamin, back in 721 BC, that's another story. Their dynasty didn't last. And they better be thankful that David's dynasty lasted. Because David is the one that gathers and the prophecy. He's the one that the 144,000 of 12 tribes are gathered unto his kingdom here in the last days. Okay, let's go ahead now. Revelation chapter 7, verse 5. First tribe to seal was Judah. Second tribe is Reuben. Third tribe is Gad. The fourth tribe is Asher. The fifth tribe is Nephilim. The sixth tribe is Manasseh. The seventh tribe is Simeon. The eighth tribe is Levi. The ninth tribe is Issachar. The 10th tribe is Zebulun. And the 11th tribe is Joseph. And the 12th tribe is Benjamin. Okay. Now, did y'all get those names? Those are the 12 names of Jacob's 12 sons and 2 grandsons. Okay. Now, one grandson, Manasseh, is a grandson of Jacob. And we know that Dan was replaced. Okay. He was replaced with Manasseh, the son of Joseph. But let's go on. That's your 12 tribes there. There's your names of them all. Okay, now, in Revelation 14:1 it says, and I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the mount of Zion, S-I-O-N. Notice it's spelled S-I-O-N and not Z-I-O-N. When it's spelled S-I-O-N, it means it's a proper place for the mountain literally where it stands. But when it's spelled Z-I-O-N, it means it's talking about his kingdom. Okay, that stands wherever it is set up. But when you say Mount Zion, S-I-O-N, it's talking about a literal place where it had its origin. Okay, and that is in Jerusalem. Verse 2 of Revelation 14, and I heard a voice from the heaven as the voice of the many waters, and as the voice of the great thunder, and I heard the voice of the harpers harping with their harps. Verse 3, And they sang as it were a new song before the throne, before the four beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which are redeemed from the earth. Verse 4, these are they which will not defile with the women, for they are the virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto Elohim and unto the Lamb. Okay, and verse 5, and in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without the fault before the throne of the Yahweh Elohim. Now, this is interesting, because that throne that they are at the fault before standing is found in Revelation chapter 5. Go read the whole chapter. You'll read about the Lion of the tribe of Judah standing in the midst of that throne. And they were weeping because no man was found worthy to open the book of the seven seals that begins the judgment of the living, 2002. And that's when this prophecy is projected up to this time. And there was no man found worthy to open that book, and one cried out and says, Lo, behold, the Lamb that was slain from the founders of the world, that's standing in the midst of the throne. He is worthy to open up the book and to look thereon, because he is the one that shed his blood for all the names inside that book. And all those names inside that book ought to be redeemed by his blood. And so he's the only one worthy to open the book and to look therein. And he being Yahshua, the Lamb, being the author of the Old and New Testament Scriptures, so naturally the 22 books of the Revelation, that is a compilation of everything found in the book of the seven seals, is written by the Yahshua. And it's not only that, but it's written in his blood. That's another thing we haven't considered. Since he's the author of the written word, and the written word is all about the life that's in the blood, and that's found in the Yahshua, going through his veins. Five angels' messages, Revelation 14:6-20. First angel, Revelation 14:6-7, with William Miller, 1833-1844. As a first-day Adventist. Okay. Verse 6. Now, this is Revelation 14, verse 6. And I saw another angel fly in the midst of the heaven, having the everlasting covenant, parentheses, having the blood of the everlasting covenant, to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and unto every nation, kindred, tongue, and people, saying with a loud voice, Fear the Yahweh Elohim, and give glory unto him, for the hour of his judgment is come. And worship him that made the heaven and earth, and the sea, and the fountains of the waters. Okay. Now we have a little rub coming in here about this. I want to go read to you right straight from the scriptures in Revelation chapter 19. People misread that scripture. They misinterpret it because they misread it. And I want to show you the correction of it. And in Revelation 19:10, it says, And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of the Yahshua. Worship the Yahshua. For the testimony of the Yahshua is found in the spirit of the prophecy. Now, let's read a little bit earlier here in Revelation 19. Let's just read verse 9. And he saith unto me, Right, blessed are they which were called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb. Okay. Now I'll tell you what let's do. Let's go back to Revelation 19 verse 5, and let's just read it through verse 10. It says, And a voice came out of the throne, saying, Praise, O Yahweh Elohim, all ye his servants, Now we need to identify who this voice is. Is this an angel or is this Yahshua speaking? And ye that fear him, both small and great, and I heard as it were the voice of a great multitude, and as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of the mighty thunderings, so saying, Hallelujah! For the Yahshua, Messiah, omnipotent, will reigneth. Okay, now this is the beginning of the reign of Yahshua. And he comes back to take his place upon the throne of David, Luke 1:32. When he comes back to sit upon that throne to reign and to judge and call all nations before him, separating the sheep from the goats, the good from the bad, and putting the sheep on his right hand and telling them that they have a right now to enter into this everlasting kingdom that he is sitting upon the throne of. So he says that he's the one that reigneth. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor unto him. Verse 7. For the marriage of the Lamb is come. We're talking about Yahshua, the Lamb. And his wife hath made herself ready. Yahshua has come to earth. He's come to take his place on the throne of David, this everlasting kingdom of heaven here on earth, to establish it. And his wife is the one with the fine linen, the white linen, the 144,000, that he's seen standing with in Revelation 14:1. And his church has made herself ready. Okay. And unto her, his purified church, was granted that she should be arrayed in the fine linen. Okay. Clean and white, for the fine linen is made up of the righteousness of the saints. Okay, now where does this linen come from? And spiritually, what does it look like? It is this house from heaven. 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 1 through 3. Be ye clothed upon with this house from heaven, so that your shame and your nakedness do not appear. That's this linen, fine linen, or the robe of righteousness that you're clothed upon with this heavenly sanctuary that has been brought to this earth by the Yahshua himself in the person. And he saith unto me, right, blessed are they which are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb. Blessed are those that are called unto this marriage supper of the Lamb. And that saith unto me, these are the true sayings of the Yahshua. Remember I said Yahshua is the author now of the written word. So when it says these are the true sayings of him, these are his sayings of the Yahshua. And I fell at his feet to worship him. This is John the Revelator was going to fall at this messenger's feet. This voice that came out of the throne earlier in verse 5. He's going to fall and worship at his feet. And this angel, this messenger says to him, and he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant. In other words, I'm a messenger, an angel from heaven as well, but I'm a fellow servant with you here on earth. And of thy brethren. He said, I'm a fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of the Yahshua. Okay, he said, I'm coming with this testimony. I've got it right here in my hands. He said, I have the testimony of the Yahshua. Worship Yahshua, and no doubt, at the same time you're worshiping the Father, because Yahshua and the Father are one in purpose. Okay. For the testimony of the Yahshua is with the spirit of the prophecy. Okay. Now, folks, that is an eye-opener. Should be for all of us. That revelation was revealed unto me to straighten that out, because most Christians then today, if they deal with that subject there, they deal with that as Yahshua coming and saying, don't worship me, to John the Revelator. He said, no, don't bow at my feet and worship me. Worship God the Father only. That's the way the King James has it kind of laid out all right. That's the way all the other scriptures have it laid out too. and even worse than that. But that's not the way inspiration revealed it. Spirit of inspiration is a whole different story. Job recognized this. He said in Job 32, but there is a spirit in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty giveth them understanding. And Amos 3:7 says, Yahweh will do nothing, except that he reveals his secrets unto his servants the prophets. He's not going to do a thing. And unfolding of the truth here on this earth, unless it's through his servants the prophets. So folks, that's the reason why it says in 2 Peter 1:19 and 20, you have also a more sure word of the prophecy, that you do well to take heed as unto a light that shineth in a dark place until the day dawn, and the day star arises in our hearts. The day star is Yahshua. You have the most sure word of prophecy until he rises in your hearts. So, let the spirit of inspiration give you the true understanding of the prophecy as it unfolds, and you'll have nothing to fear when Yahshua finally appears in the person. So you'll be ready to meet him and receive him and recognize him when he does come. Okay, so now, in the first angel, flying in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting covenant to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and unto every nation, kindred, tongue, and people. And in verse 7 of Revelation 14, saying with a loud voice, fear Elohim and give glory unto him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made the heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of the water. But we know that Yahshua is a co-creator with the Father of everything that was created. And so we can go read the evidence of that there. The testimony of that is in Hebrews chapter 1, verse 1, 2, and 3. Okay, second angel of Revelation 14:8. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all the nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And you can go read all about her fall starting in Revelation 17 and 18, and read all about her fall, and read about her fall in the prophecy of Jeremiah 50 and 51. That's projection at that same time. Okay, now it says the third angel, Revelation 14:9, followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship of the beast in his image and receive of his mark in his forehead or in his hand. Verse 10, for the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Elohim, which is poured out without the mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with the fire and the brimstone in the presence of the righteous, just in the presence of the angels, and in the presence of the Lamb. Okay. Verse 11, and the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship of the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Verse 12, here is the patience of the saints, who are they that keep the commandments of the Elohim, and the faith of the Yahshua. Okay. Verse 13, and I heard a voice from the heavens saying unto me, right blessed are the dead which die in the Yahshua. Okay. Why is it so important to know that you have died in the Yahshua? Because it's not the double proof that you're covered by his blood from the henceforth. Yea, he saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their labors do follow them. Fourth angel, Revelation 14:4. And I looked and behold Revelation 14:14. And I looked and behold a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. Another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice unto him that sat upon the cloud, saying, thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. Verse 16, and he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. Verse 17, and another angel came out of the temple that is in the heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. Verse 18, and another angel came out from the altar, which had power with the fire, and cried with a loud voice unto him Yahshua that had the sharp sickle, saying, thrust in thy sharp sickle and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth. This is your second fruits harvest, is for your Gentiles, for her grapes are fully ripe. Okay? Now, we're in the 12th hour, we're in the 12th hour. And it says in verse 19, and the angel, Yahshua, thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of the Lamb, Yahshua. Because it says in Revelation that Yahshua, the wrath of the Lamb has come, it says. Okay, so it's the wrath of the Lamb this time. Verse 20. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress even under the horse bridle by the space of 1,600 furlongs. Now, folks, you were able to follow me explaining the first three angels' messages. But how many of y'all picked up on that fourth and fifth angel's message that joined those three, starting in Revelation 14? Well, Revelation 14:14, we have the fourth angel brought to view, and these are harvest angels. The first three angels are not harvest angels. They had their duration from 1844 to 2002. That was in the Judgment Dead period. But the last two angels that joins them, and then they take over the message for the 12th parabolic hour to start the judgment of the living and the harvest. And that's where that is found right there in Revelation 14, starting in verse 14 through 20. You'll find those last two angels. And these are harvest angels because that man sitting on the white cloud is Yahshua with the sickle in his hand. He's commanded to thrust in that sickle twice to reap the harvest of the first fruits, 144,000, and then to reap the harvest of the second fruit, and that's the vine, that's the clusters of the vine, which is your Gentile. So Yahshua is ahead in the orchestrating the harvest of the two fruits, the first fruits and the second fruits here in this 12th parabolic hour, judgment of the living time. All right, now, we're going to pick up a compilation now that's about a Diki harp taken from the White House Retriever. And I upgraded it in the present tense. And so now you're going to see and hear my explanation of what he tried to say. For the issue, let's begin now. For the issue is of the greatest gravity. For the Messiah is with the foreknowing of the gravity, and in the supreme concern is with the projection of the gravity, in the cunning lesson of the parable of the vineyard, Isaiah 5:7, house of the Yahshua. Okay. For the time is with the fast approaching unto the 12th and last parabolic hour. Okay. With the sitting ablaze of the parable, with the light by the truth being progressive, is with the looking deeper into the parable of the Elohim as the parable of Yahshua, as the light is with the shining on the parable. Okay. Where it says, for the vineyard of the Yahshua the host is in the house of the Israel. Notice I put that preposition in. The scripture just plainly says is the house of Israel. Well, that's improper. The vineyard is one thing, and the house of Israel is another thing. The vineyard is a field where you work. The house is a place where you worship. So the vineyard of the Yahshua the host is in the confines of the house of Israel. Isaiah 5:7. Now it says, and the men of the Judah as his pleasant plan. Why are the men of Judah his pleasant plant? They're his lawgivers. They're his judges. Okay? And he looked for the judgment, but behold oppression, for the righteousness, but behold a cry. For the laborers, for the parables of the laborers in the vineyard, Matthew 20, verses 1 through 6. Number 1, for the kingdom of the heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, that went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard. And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard, Isaiah 5:7. And he went out about the end of the 3rd hour, on the 16th day of the 1st month, day and hour of his crucifixion, in 31 A.D. In the other words, Yahshua is with the hiring of the 11 disciples before the disposing of the Judas Iscariot for the taking of the place of the Pharisees on the 15th day of the 1st month, Abib, at the Last Supper, and saw others standing idle in the marketplace, and said unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, Isaiah 5:7, and whatsoever is right I will give you. And they went their way. Verse 5, again he went out about the end of the 6th hour, 1833, Miller, and end of the 9th hour, and did likewise, 1844, White. Okay. Number 6, and about the end of the 11th hour, this is verse 6. Okay, at the Gilead Center in Kermit, Texas, 2002, with Brother Johnson at the helm. He went out and found others standing idle, and saith unto them, Why stand ye here all the day idle? Verse 7, they say unto him, Because no man, namely Brother Johnson, hath hired us. Well, he's the steward of the vineyard, so that's the one you would logically go to get hired. He saith unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, Isaiah 5:7. What does it mean also? It means that somebody else has already been sent into the vineyard ahead of you. Who was that sent into the vineyard ahead of you? Brother W. Johnson. Angel of the 7th candlestick, Gilead Center, in the 11th hour. And that's the reason why I said he went out about the 11th hour. At the beginning of the 11th hour, and he hired brothers. He went out at the close of the 11th hour, 2002, and he hired Denton Brunson. You see the difference? He says, Go ye also into the vineyard. Well, he hired me also at the beginning of the 11th hour to work alongside the angel of the candlestick for 33 years. And then when the time was up for the leader of that movement, Brother Johnson, then he called me, and at the end of that hour, and I succeeded him, and that's the way it has worked out today. And whatsoever is right, that shall you receive. How can we know for a certainty in the hour that we find ourselves? Now, this is B.T. Harp asking this question. And if our own call under the service is come. Now, this is B.T. Harp asking a very pertinent question here. He's talking to his people. How do we know? And he's making a pronouncement here. He says, For the knowing of the future hour of our call for the service is by the establishing of the time. That the last parabolic hour, when it expires. Time that the last parabolic hour expires. For the establishing of the time of the first call for the service, or with the key for the opening of the parable with the knowledge of the parabolic timetable, then in return with the time of each successive call is with the culminating with the last call. First, though, pursuant unto this end, we must bring into the focus about the parable's significant points. Number 1, for the Yahshua, as every scripture student should know, is known as a householder. Okay, we can always say it's Yahweh, but I say it's Yeshua. Because the very fact that he came here literally in the person on earth 2,000 years ago and literally, physically went out and hired 12 disciples to work in his cabinet, personally, in the third parabolic hour, as a second group of laborers that was called to work in the vineyard. And that's amazing. Yeshua himself was called as a householder of the house, and his vineyard was right there in Jerusalem. And so he was called to work in the vineyard as well as the rest of it, because he did work in the vineyard with the disciples for 3.5 years. Number 2, for the laborers are his servants. Number 3, for the penny is given as a reward. Number 4, for the vineyard is the place where they are to labor. Number 5, for the parabolical day is with the representation of a period of the time with the illumination of the sun's great light. Number 6, for the period of the labor is with the preceding and succeeding by a night, or that there could be no early and no late part of the day. Okay. So the early part of the 11th hour day began in 1970. The late part of the day has come in 2002. Okay. And it came at the same location where the sun came up. The sun came up on Gilead Center in the 11th hour, and it went down on Gilead Center at the end of the 11th hour. Right there in that one place. Number 7, for the householder hires laborers at the 5 different times. Number 8, for there are 3 parabolic hours in the first 3 hour periods. The first group, early morning call, first hour, Matthew 20 verse 1, Moses and the children of Israel for the working in the first, second, and third parabolic hour from 1500 BC to 31 AD. Folks, pay attention to that. Moses started the call at the beginning of the first hour. Yeshua ended that call at the end of the 3rd hour, for he was hung on the cross at the 3rd hour of the day. And he died at the 9th hour of that very same day, and that day was the 16th day of the 1st month, and that was exactly 1 day after the unleavened bread day that Yeshua had just conducted the Last Supper with his disciples the day before. And the next day he's hanging on the cross. What do you think about that? Closing out the 3rd parabolic hour that was allotted to Moses and the children of Israel. First 3 parabolic hours that covered a 1500-year period from 1500 BC to 31 AD. Group 2, 3rd hour call, Matthew 20 verse 3, apostles and Gentiles for the working in the 4th, 5th, and 6th hour. Now get this, folks. The 3rd hour call. Okay. At the end of the 3rd hour was for the apostles. Now the apostles got their training in the 3rd hour with Yeshua. Yeshua closed out the 3rd hour, and so after the 3rd hour was over at the 3rd hour of the day that he was crucified, that began the 4th parabolic hour, and the disciples had the commission then to take up the work, and all the reformers from 31 AD through 1833 AD, an 1800-year period, is for the disciples and the reformers to work in the 3 parabolic hours for that 1800 years. 4th, 5th, and 6th from 31 AD to 1833. Now, the group 3, the 3rd group, where Yeshua and the disciples represent the 6th group, and all of those that worked in the vineyard, including Martin Luther, John Knox, the Presbyterian, John Wesley, the Methodist, in 1725, Alexander Campbell, the Baptist, in 1810, and William Miller, the Millerite, First, he was also a Baptist when he took up his training under Alexander Campbell in the 1820s. So he got his training in the 6th parabolic hour, and then at the end of the 6th parabolic hour in 1833, William Miller was called to head up the 7th, 8th, and 9th parabolic hours between 1833 and 1844. Okay, so it says the third group, the Millerites, first-day Adventists they were called, but they're working in the 7th, 8th, and 9th parabolic hour, 1833 to 1844. For the maintaining of the Adventist name, 1844 through 2003, is through the 5 parabolic hours. Okay. So now, we picked up the Adventist name in 1833 with William Miller, first-day Adventist. Okay. Now, with William Miller being classified as an Adventist, but of the Philadelphian church. Now, notice this. The Adventists has to share their name with the 6th candlestick, the 6th church, Philadelphia. So the Adventist is not just an exclusive name for the 9th hour call laborers. It's also for the 6th hour call William Millerite. They're called first-day Adventists, and the 9th hour call laborers are called seventh-day Adventists. Okay, so they are two classes of Adventists. First-day Adventists and seventh-day Adventists. And then the Seventh-day Adventist has daughters entitled Davidian Seventh-day Adventist and Branch Davidian Seventh-day Adventist. Okay. So there is your 4 names that is used with the Adventist flavor. First-day Adventist, William Miller. Seventh-day Adventist, Ellen G. White. Okay. Davidian Seventh-day Adventist, the Shepherd Broad, B.T. Holland. The Branch Davidian Seventh-day Adventist, Brother Frederick Johnson, 1972-93. I was a Branch Davidian. I joined the Branch Davidian in 1970. I was not a Davidian. I was a Branch Davidian. Okay. First, I was a Seventh-day Adventist, and then I became a Branch Davidian in 1970. All right, now. We're getting close. Well, matter of fact, we're at the end of our study, so let's just bring this study to a close. We're going to bring this study now to a close with a song that I've written entitled, let me see, Zion's Hill, a song that I have written. It's a cute little old jingle of a song, and I think it's well fitting to close out this sermon with that. It says, well, I'm going to that city. Well, I'm going to that city that sits high on Zion's hill. There are no pretenders, only those who do God's will. Won't you go with me up Zion's hill? We can walk among the flowers and fill and the beauty that is all around on Zion's hill where love have found. Those who make it to that city, these will wear a crown of gold. Some with many more stars than others, each star represents his soul. Won't you go with me up Zion's hill? We can walk among the flowers and fill at the beauty that is all around of Zion's hill love found. When I get to that city, there'll be folks I want to meet. There'll be joy and fun. one.